I'm not gonna lie to you at all.
Mhm.
But welcome to another week of the Flagrant Two X and Lou. Me in the building, yo. I gotta get my life together, man. I got the stream deck here, right? And I could
Yeah.
do like the little sound effects and stuff. I gotta get this.
All right, that's
We
doing
gonna
too
talk after the
much.
episode, man. We gotta
We
get our
get
life
it.
together.
We'll get it.
Ah
We still ain't
man.
get a theme music. Dun, dun, dun,
I,
dun,
yeah, I
dun,
know
dun.
now. Here we go. Ah man, hey, another week. Basketball starting up in a couple weeks. We in training
Yes,
camp now.
sir. Yes, sir.
We in training camp, man. Guess who showed up to training camp though?
Who?
Mr. Harden.
Who pulled up?
Mr. Harden.
Harden.
Mr. Harden.
Oh,
Step down to my office, Mr.
that's a
Harden. We gotta have a chat.
that's a pleasant
We gotta talk.
surprise.
Yeah, I gotta talk.
You're like,
Harden, we're gonna have a heart to heart real quick. Mr.
but
Harden, sir. Are you a 76er? Or are you? Where is he going? Like, is he gonna get traded? Like, is this gonna be a continued saga throughout the season?
do we gotta really see how training camp goes with them? I think it's obviously over. He was at the club talking about
He's always
Daryl
well,
Morey's a liar. That's his
not-
spot. Hey, look. Jordan used to be at the casinos, doing his gambling thing. Let him do his thing, whatever floats your boat. You feel me? Just don't let it interfere with what's going on. And the last time he went to the club during the playoffs, he dropped like 40. So can we, whatever it is, what it is. Do your thing, young blood, but don't get the other boys involved in that nonsense.
Crazy? You know what's crazy? I know it's a little like unconventional, but like as much as he is always in the club and stuff, he has never gotten a stripper pregnant. That is amazing to me. That is in 14. How many seasons? 14, 15 seasons?
Let's say 14, 15. Who cares? He's almost over.
14, 15 years in the club, never shot the club up. That's crazy.
Hey, because I know I would.
That's an impeccable record.
I would have had kids everywhere. I would have started a franchise.
The old strip club. That is crazy. Nah, that's crazy.
No. That sounded wild what you just said, bro. Started my old strip club with my kids. That's wild.
No, not with the kids. Hey, yo, not with the kids. You start stable with the with the girls. Get all of them together. All the BMs, put them in one club. Put all the BMs in one club.
That'll be the new Playboy.
Nah, that's wild.
Playboy venture, right?
That's wild. But nah, all jokes aside.
Come on, get hard at Hardens.
Nah, that's crazy. Nah, but all jokes aside, where do you think he's gonna land? If he goes anywhere?
It's tough. Like, I ain't gonna lie, some of the hottest contenders, people like the Clippers, people who want to win.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
The Knicks pulled out.
I know the Knicks said we ain't with it, and I'm glad they did because
it would have been too much dysfunction. Tibbs is not letting that rock.
It's not.
You want to stay behind and go to the strip club? We in Houston for the night. Tibbs not letting that rock.
Yeah, it's already New York. Like, we had a track record of being like, just bad management, and now we already moving away from that to actually showing some competency. And hey, look, Harden's good, but his character flaws for over the past few years have been showing. We don't want him.
I think it's more of because obviously the encore stuff is always going to be there. He's always going to be. He's a good, I'd say top 5, top 10 scorer in the league currently, even still. Yeah. But yeah, it's the off the court stuff. You want to be able to go to a franchise where you're going to want to win. A lot of these franchises, they're not going to take a risk on you or risk giving up assets in hopes of a championship without there being assurances that you're going to be good. I can't send you. New York is such a big market that you going there, you're going to be on a post every single day. Oh, you was in a club? You was in 4040, you was downtown, you was in Wet Willie's in Soho. Like you going and paparazzi's gonna be everywhere for him. Not in New York. It's not rocking in New York. He's going to be plastered everywhere. He's gonna be on New York 1. So every hour on the hour, like you know what I'm saying? It's
Non-stop.
crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if there's any true team. If he was to go to, it has to be a team that doesn't have the media market that a lot of these big teams have. I don't think that if the Clippers pull the trigger on it, it's because they think that that's going to maximize PG and Kawhi. In the event that they have an injury, he would have to go somewhere like back to OKC, get with the young boys. I think that'd be nice with him with the young boys. He's shown that he could get max potential out of young boys in Houston. Houston is also a safe kind of bet, but then it's like, what are you showing your young guys when you get there? You know what I'm saying? You really want Harden at OKC showing Chet like
that, and that's one of the things. And that's one of the things I was saying earlier. You got to stay away from the young bloods, Harder, because you can't go over there with the same nonsense. They're gonna follow suit like, oh, that life look fun, and they're gonna go ahead with it. And we already see, especially if you're in Houston, you already see the boy with the good hair already with one of them bad chicks.
Jalen Green.
Yeah, Galen Green. He's
Galen Green.
That's crazy. Let me chill. Jalen Green, that's my boy though. I love his game. He's already with some fly shorty. So if you see Harden pull up out there, talk about come to the clubs, he gonna go crazy. But that's why I don't think like any young team is not taking him. The only team that's gonna take him is people who contenders. And the thing about it is the way he's been. If I'm a GM, you got to give up too much to get Harden, because Harden isn't who he was when we thinking about the player who he was, but he's still high enough where he demands a good package. A good trade package. A good trade package to get his services. And now what are you going to have left to compete with? If you add Harden into a certain team, if you had Harden to the Clippers without giving up a lot of the pieces, they look good, but now you got to get rid of pieces to get them.
Yeah, I think another safe team to probably send him to, because you want to send him to a team. Well, I can't even say send him. A team that is going to ultimately want to have him is a team that's laden with veterans. So I think the Lakers are probably going to be out because it's a LeBron show at the end of the day. And LeBron is not going to take all that nonsense off like you want to hit the strip. No, bro, we working out. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Like, LeBron is no nonsense. So if I'm Harden, I don't want to go to the Lakers. 1. 2, you have to go to a team that's stacked with veterans. Not just the veterans, but also the youth enough that they're competing. A team that I look at like that is probably Dallas. I look at the Mavericks like that because the Mavericks have the veteran, they have the leadership and everything. And then you have a star player. The only thing with Harden, and you're putting Harden with Luka and Kyrie, and that's crazy. Crazy offensive, but it's gonna be a lot of defense that's gonna be lacking.
This is why once you said Dallas, I was like, that sounds good, but we have already dealt with this already in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Them two were the ones who were the most adamant at each other.
Because it was KD that was, he wanted the ball.
KD was the mediator.
Yep.
But those two was the ones. So it's like him going to Dallas, like, it sound good, but I don't think it could work. The only team I feel like it would either be the Clippers or Miami, and it's tough.
Miami,
because Miami already lost out on Dame. Who's the next person they're gonna get? Brogdon. Like, that's the only next person out there. And then Harden is the only piece that you could pull in, and then you got to still get him together because you got to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't like Harden's Miami.
But
I'll tell you why I don't like the Harden.
They ain't gonna mesh, but that's the only team that's a contender that you could sit there and look at and be like, he could
Harden's
actually
not gonna
help
last in Miami because of the culture in Miami.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's the culture in Miami is we're going to lock up. We're going to play defense. And that's the craziest thing. On paper, Miami looks like a team that cannot contend on paper. They look like a team that outside of Bam and Butler, it's like, okay, who's really gonna stop us? Butler can't guard all of us. Bam can't
No.
stop everybody from coming into the paint. It's one of those situations where it's like it's the culture. You buy into the culture, everybody locks in, everybody is, you only need 2 20-point a night scores and Butler and Bam. And everybody else is we're gonna chip in, but we're gonna play defense.
Yeah.
Harden's not gonna be able to mesh with that type of vibe in Miami.
High key, look, listen. Yeah, the nightlife. But when I was what I was saying that I meant like that's the only team that he could slide in. Like if you think about skill set, and if it wasn't putting all this culture, everything there, it would just flow into. But it's just like he has to truly buy into that, and that's the tough part about it. You probably wouldn't get that out of him. But that's the only team who could go in and you could contend with. Because I'm like, yo, like you said, I was looking at like Dallas too, but I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, Kyrie, now they already had their spat. Yeah. So it's just like at the end of the day, I would think the only people, because they're the only buyers out there truly still, because they lost out on Dame already. They even lost out on Drew Holiday.
They lost out on KD.
They lost out. They didn't even think about Bill. Yeah, which they could have had to.
They could have had Bill too. They struck out on everybody.
You struck out on everybody. If you at least you aiming for them, and you hit Harden. That, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I can sit here and say. Exactly.
I'm not mad at Harden going there because look at the package that will go. Ultimately you're gonna ship out Hero. Hero's gonna be in any package. Hero going to Philadelphia. I'm not mad at that because
would work. I think that
offense doesn't really drop off. He gets to actually start and become what people think he is. I don't hold him up to that esteem. I still think that he's a third, fourth option, and I think he could thrive in that role. I don't think he'll be a good second option, but I mean, there's a lot of players in the league that nobody said would even be a second option, and look at them right now. You know what I'm saying? Chris Middleton, who would have thought Chris Middleton, who we forgot his name last week, but who would have thought that Chris Middleton would be a great second option next to Giannis? You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's layers to that. And then on top of that, you have Harden going on Miami. Start him at point.
That's exactly.
Start him at point. And on top of that, because Miami in the half court, everything is stagnant. You have Harden to create points.
Him and Bam.
Everybody relying on Jimmy. I would say Jimmy is the most 50-50 clutch player in the league.
Yeah.
the most 50-50 clutch player. It's like one night he got it. You're not stopping him. The next night, nah.
Yeah. Get the ball out.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that would work. But man, that's tough.
But it's still tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I would say another team that could probably use him is probably Denver. Why not? Why not pair him with Murray? It's what you give up to get him, but he would be all right in Denver. No.
Don't ever talk. Don't talk again. Episode over, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
You know what? Not for nothing. I think he'll be okay, and he'll buy in if he goes like OKC, to Golden State. I trade Chris Paul right now, straight up.
Oh my god, bro! I told y'all that episode was over, bro.
Yo, but look,
I wasn't joking.
All jokes aside, we're naming these teams that it's like the most likely scenario for him to do is probably to stay. His best championship window is probably right now, right next to Embiid, and I say they're a trade away from making that happen. And if I'm Philadelphia, I'm checking in on Brogdon.
Yeah,
Brogdon
that's a fact.
out. I'm checking in on Brogdon. Hey, what would it take for me to get Brogdon right now?
That's a whole fact. I think, and I agree with you. I think he needs to stay in Philly. But like I said, he needs to stay in Philly because that's his closest to winning a championship.
Yes,
You
it's the
can't be
closest.
moved anywhere else, truthfully, and be put in a position better than this.
And then with the new CBA, you can't sit out
Mm-hmm.
because your contract is just gonna roll over to the next year. You
So
can't you can't set out games or you're just gonna get fined.
yeah,
And then on top of that, you still got to play for them the following year. Like I like how the CBA is set up right now because this is the perfect scenario. Yes, I
yeah,
believe that players should have a voice, and I believe that the players should be able to dictate where they go or dictate where they play and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when a situations like this is a different situation in Bradley Bill.
yeah. This,
Bradley Bill was in a situation where he was in a losing franchise, and it's
yeah.
either you move me because we're not going to win. We're not. Wizards
Mm-hmm.
right now, even with the trades and everything that they made, they're still five. I don't want to say five, but they're about 5 years out from actually truly competing. They're in the youth
Yeah,
movement and they're doing what they have to do, which was the right move. Trade Bill, get draft assets, and go with the youth. Go from there.
yeah. I'm with all of that. But the thing about it, a lot of this situation with James Harden is completely different from a Bradley Bill. Like you said, Bradley Bill is a great example because it's like, yo, I was at with a losing organization and I just want to move on from this. Harden, he's just moving on from team, from team, from team, from team.
It's a pattern.
Exactly. And that's one of the things you got to stop. You want player empowerment to be able to be like, all right, cool. I might have signed a deal because there wasn't nowhere else to go at this time. And I was just going to get my money because it's like, it's nothing I could do but get this money and
Mhm.
play for a losing team and then move on from that. All right, cool. With the league don't want that, whatever. But it's just like, I'd rather that than a player trying to move 3-4 times
Yeah.
because he's good. All right, cool, you're good, but now you're showing me the fact that you're mentally not stable. Like,
Yeah, you're
you
not
know what I
buying
mean? To
into
be in
any
one
coaches.
place.
You're not
Yeah.
trying to win. All you caring about right now, all that show me is that you're about the bag. And at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, be about the bag, but also be about winning. There's no
Yeah.
point in having the bag and not having anything to prove because your legacy
I,
ultimately is going to be he was a good scorer,
I time out. I
but we
wouldn't
couldn't
even
win with
say,
it.
yeah, I wouldn't even say the bag because it's not like he's going anywhere and changing the amount of money he's getting. It's
Yeah,
just he just want, I don't know, it's just a crybaby thing to me. You could call it what you want. I don't like it here. I want to go. I don't
yeah.
like it here. I want to go. Like,
Oh, they don't let me stay up past midnight.
I gotta go. Like,
I want to
come
go
on,
somewhere
guy.
else. You know what I'm saying? And the craziest part is you were the one that had issues and problems with Doc. To get rid of Doc for
Mm-hmm.
you. You had issues with Kyrie. They traded you. You had issues with the
You,
system that they was running in Houston. They fired their
yeah,
coach. You still had
they
issues. You demanded a trade.
CP3.
They traded you.
You had issues with CP. You had issues with Westbrook.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the issue is you. It's not anybody else. I could understand everybody else is disgruntled demeanor on other teams. KD, he was disgruntled with how Brooklyn was handling the whole Kyrie situation, and then on top of that, the Kyrie and James Harden situation. I can understand Bradley Bill's frustration wanting out. I could understand Dame's frustration wanting out.
Yeah,
You could understand all of these different dynamics from other players, star players at that, good players at their position, wanting out of their franchises respectively because of what they're specifically dealing with. This is on a whole nother Richter scale. Like you're talking about a player who hurt his nail in the locker room and said, you know what? I don't like this locker room no more. Trade me, coach. Like I don't I just don't get it. And the fact that wherever he goes, GMs, owners are going to have that in the back of their mind.
yep,
We have to walk on eggshells, or we have to do things a certain type of way, or we have to give leniency to a player who isn't even at the apex at his craft anymore. I mean,
No,
let's keep it a whole buck. He's not top 5 at his position anymore.
nah, he's
He's
going.
been
He's on
bad.
a. He's on a. He's on that downward trend at his end of his career. Like he's only going to get worse as far as what you expect him to be, what he
Right.
was at his apex, and now
Yep.
he's cool. He's cool. He's evolving and transforming more into a PG type of thing. But it's just like, yo, that's not. You still got that mentality that you're the Houston James Harden when you're the
And you're not.
Philadelphia. You're the Philadelphia Harden right now.
Yep. You have to get into the mind
It's
state that
only
you are a second option now.
Yeah, because
You're
it's
not the
only
first
but so
option.
much. It's only but so much GMs are gonna take. If you was still Harden that you was in Houston, they would
Oh
take
yeah.
your nonsense. They would be
Yeah,
like, all
without a
right,
doubt.
cool, all right. But you're not him anymore. You're on that end. So it's like, yo, you gotta dim your little attitude real quick, dim your
Yeah,
light real quick
you
and
gotta chill.
understand, like, yo,
You gotta slow down and take it slow. I don't know, man. I just feel like right now, if Harden was smart, which I think he's only showing up to camp to show that he's healthy and that he's available, which is also smart. But
yeah,
I feel like if he was smart, stick it out in Philly, work out your differences. Because I mean, Maury literally did some colluding stuff just to
yo, you
figure out
already
a
know.
contract, just to and then on top of that, you lied on top. Well, I don't even say lie because it's everything is speculative, it's alleged, but allegedly you told the league that that's not what he did, even though the league investigated him for it, and it was borderline that's what he did. So at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it's like he did you a favor and tried to do everything that he could to build
Yep.
a contender, because it's not like y'all didn't make the playoffs. It's not like y'all still not a playoff team. It's just the teams around you got better. And I think that that's what he has in his mind. I don't think that I could win here because everybody else got way more better than we did.
I ain't even gonna lie, I don't even think it's the winning part. Let's keep it a stack. We know, just like you said, that borderline stuff that he did was kind of, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know, he made a deal with Harden, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pay you this, that, and the third of that." Harden, had a playoff stink. He had that one game that you like, "Oh, damn, this might be Harden," and then he just went on to his regular, his regular playoffs nonsense. And then it's like the role was probably supposed to be a little bit bigger, and then the next contract was supposed to be a little bit bigger, and none of those are going to be that for the next following years. So it's just like, damn, Daryl Morey's a liar.
Mm.
That's
And
how
that's
I feel it leads to that.
yeah, and that's tough because I think that I think that's exactly how it is, and that's what's tough is because when you get to the playoffs, we expect you to perform. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like us as fans, sure, them as GMs, them as owners, them as teammates, they expect you have your teammates who know you're the star, know that you're gonna get the ball at the last second, and you every single playoff series there hasn't been any progression. You look at other players around the league. KD lost to OKC, he learned from that. Got to Golden State, learn how to be in a winning organization, learn how to win with proven winners around him because he didn't have a ring before he got there.
Yeah, we
Goes to
clearly.
OKC, wins a ring. I mean OKC goes to Golden State, wins a ring, learns how to be a winner, then decides to leave with that knowledge, go to Brooklyn, try to start his own thing to get Brooklyn their first ring. Bring my guys with me. I'm gonna bring Kyrie. Kyrie's my bro. We're gonna. I need Harden. I need Harden. I don't care what it takes. Get Harden out here.
Yeah.
KD trying to build something, and what do? It's like you spit on that. So when you look at the other teammates are gonna look at that. You look at other teams.
Mm-hmm.
You got other guys looking at that. Like
Keeping that in
I don't know.
consideration.
I don't know if I want Harden here, man. I don't know if he could do that to KD, one of the best players in the world.
Shoot.
I mean, come
Anybody
on,
could
man.
get it.
Anybody. So yeah, I don't I don't know. I don't know how do you rectify the situation other than he's gonna have to go to Maury and he's gonna have to eat crow. He's gonna have to sit down and be
Mhm.
like, look, this is on me.
Yeah.
And let me go out there and show you that I could do this and I could perform at a high level.
Yep.
And then at the end of the season, that's when
We figure out what's what, but
yeah,
just
you know what I'm saying?
man up and do your contract.
And what do we always talk about? Because the regular season really don't matter aside from seeding. What do we always talk about? Playoffs. And if you don't perform in the playoffs, how can you ask for that bag?
Bruh.
There's been plenty of players in the league that got their bag because they wild out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They wild out in the season. Yeah, they ain't wild out in the regular season. They wild out in the playoffs.
Yep.
Regular season, you could be Joe Schmo. Get to the playoffs and you wild out. Oh, it's winning time. I know what he's about. Give him the bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Enough.
Yeah, enough about it, man. I'm tired of it. Drew to Boston. My boy Drew. This is probably the best situation to put him in. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Lose Marcus Smart. So you don't have a proven point guard. You don't have a proven point guard. And honestly, this is an upgrade. Because who would you rather have on your team as your starting point guard? Marcus Smart or Drew Holiday?
Yeah, come on, man. You know we all choosing Drew.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Smart. Yeah, it's not.
There's no slight on Smart. I mean, I love Smart, but there's levels.
Yeah,
there's legit levels. Like I've never put Marcus Smart as a bona fide point guard. He, in my opinion, he's never been like he's not a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, Drew can handle the rock. He can bring it up. He can get everybody in sets. He's a point guard. I feel like Marcus Smart is serviceable, but I've never considered him a true point guard.
Yeah,
he's somebody where I need you to lock him up.
Yeah.
But bringing the ball up, nah, Tatum. come get the ball.
Come get this.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've never considered, and I think that where Marcus landed is good. He landed in a situation where one, he doesn't have to handle the rock, even coming off the bench. He doesn't have to handle the rock because they got Drew. They got Ja handling the rock, and then you got Rose coming off the bench. He don't have to handle the rock. He's a set shooter. Sit him in the corner and have him go play defense. Marcus Smart is landed in a great situation. Yeah. Drew, on the other hand, landed in an even better situation.
Yeah. He took his situation.
Does Drew going to Boston tip that scale a little bit more? Because me and you both had Boston going to the finals. Does that tip?
Yeah, I think it tips it back a little bit. I still, even though
we're both still high on the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm still high on the Bucks, but it's just like I feel like Boston saw the Bucks make that move, and he was like, "Damn, we got to do something." And they said, "Damn, they just got rid of Drew. Drew, somebody who helped them who led them to the playoffs and actually won them some series in the playoffs with some fantastic plays, championship plays.
Arguably Game 6. It was him.
One of the best plays, arguably one of the best plays in playoff history.
Yep, it was him. Yep.
So it's just like, yo, now we could get that guy, and it's just not just picking up a guy to replace Marcus Smart. This guy, like you said, it's an upgrade because he's more of a playmaker. You could sit here and say he's a notch down on defense, but he's a notch up on offense, which they always had more of a problem than their defense. So it just like it balances out the team a little bit more better. He's like top 10 as far as players in the NBA and pick and roll efficiency.
Yeah. And then on top of that,
so it's like
he's no slouch on defense either.
No,
he's no slouch.
Unless your name's Jimmy Butler.
Or
but it's too soon.
But yeah, he's no slouch on defense either. But I think that this was a move that Boston needed to make because I didn't trust White to be their starting point guard. I think White is very serviceable, but I think he's better serviceable coming off the bench in his second, leading the bench and leading that second unit. And then on top of that, White's clutch factor is coming off the bench. Is the fact that he's the change of pace. He's the guy that came in for Smart and was like, yeah, we're gonna change the pace on, because Smart is a little bit more of a bulldog and he's a little bit more slower. And his job was really to bring the ball up the court and go to the corner type stuff. White, you could put in another pick and roll situation. So you could play sets with Drew and White and put them in different situations where you have, you might have White setting a screen just to set the screen, just so he could free up maybe a back door to Brown or fade for or put Tatum on a block. Because there's a lot of different combinations that you could have with a better ball handler in Drew, and two, with White coming off the bench as your leader of the second unit. And honestly, this works out in Boston's favor. Think about all the different lineups that they could have, especially now you got Zingy, you got Porzingis. There's a lot of different lineups that you could literally interchange with Drew. Drew could go to the two and do some different things.
That's a fact. And like you said, there's more things you could do with Drew. And one of the biggest factors is Jaylen Brown, because bringing in Drew takes some touches from Jaylen Brown. Yeah. Because his left hand is fantastic. Even this offseason, he worked on it so intensely. Yeah, we all seen the video. The video. He's been working on his left hand. But he'll take some of those clutch touches that he had away from him in a better playmaker from Smart. So it's like those touches that he get, it'll eliminate those turnovers that Jaylen Brown got, that he was forced to put in situations that he wasn't truly comfortable with, and it'll help him.
Ball handle on it,
yeah.
Another thing that I like about this is the package and everything that Portland has. So going over to Portland, I think Portland is in prime real estate situation because they got plethora of draft picks. They got a whole bunch of young talent. I think Scoot's gonna eat over there just off of the GP because Dame's not there. You don't have a proven go-to right now in Portland.
Yeah.
Got rid of Eric Nurkic is in
Phoenix.
Is in Phoenix. You got Ayton out of that. Ayton is a good young center who still needs to learn, who still needs to develop his offensive game, because you can't just rely off of rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that. You're gonna have to be able to step out 15 foot from the rim and knock it down. And I think that's where he's inconsistent at. But I think that Portland going forward, they're the new OKC, bro. Think about it. This is the way OKC went. OKC got rid of everybody. OKC still in this stage. Don't get it twisted. OKC is still there. But OKC right now looks like, give them a couple of years and they might be scary.
Yeah.
Or they may be in that situation. I'm not saying as fast as OKC has done it, but they're in that situation. They're in a unique situation right now where they can rely on a draft. They have all the cap space. They don't have to worry about cap. And it's not like star players lining up to go there. You're going to have to rely on your youth, develop your guys, get them out there. They just need a good developmental coach. Who's their head coach right now?
Shoo, you got me beat. They head coach to me was Dame Dollar. Give him the ball and let him work. But when we talking about good young teams, I think they definitely climbed up the ladder above, Charlotte. I'll give you that. When you look at all the pieces, because you got to think about Shaedon Sharpe, who showed fantastic. He was fantastic when they, sat Dame out for those last 10 games, injury, he was injured.
He was injured.
Yeah, during those
allegedly.
10.
Allegedly.
during those little 10, I think it was like 10, 14 games, whatever games.
It was like the last 2 weeks of the season, right?
We already seen Anthony Simons. He was Dame Sense
He's
or
saying
whatever you want to
2.0.
call him. Yeah,
Yeah.
like come on. He
Yeah.
was loose change because he was showing that he was about to be $1. He was going crazy. So and now you bring in Scoot Henderson, a guy who's been playing against. We not even talking about he was playing against college guys. He was playing against people who was actually playing in the NBA, people who dropped down to go to the G League in the NBA.
Yep.
So he's been playing against
college and went to the G League, right?
Yeah, and he played in the G League since he was 17, 2 years. It's not like he was one of them G League players who went there for 1. He played there 2 years already.
So he's been
playing
against
with NBA players. So this is a guy who's more advanced. And we can see
young, which is the craziest part. He's still young. To have that experience and be that young,
it's fantastic. So it's like they're gonna do that. Then they come in, they actually have a good big man setup going on. They brought in dominating, you know. I had to use it, man. I don't know why he said that. They got to be.
I don't know why he said that.
But they brought him in. And then like they still got Jeremy Grant, which they're probably gonna try to get rid of too.
Yeah, they're probably gonna.
But it's just like Brogdon's definitely gone. And the thing I was thinking too, I was like, if Brogdon he's gonna go, but it would have been fantastic to have Brogdon around.
It'd be like a Jordan Clarkson situation in Utah.
I wouldn't even say that because Jordan Clarkson's a microwave. Brogdon is more of he'll set your offense up, get you going.
He's a little bit more consistent.
And that's the one thing I was gonna say. That would have been fantastic if Brogdon was actually around because he's a different play style than Scoot Henderson. So he would have taught Scoot some things that Scoot Henderson would have never even, you know what I mean? Because he's not athletic. Sorry. So he would have taught him certain moves and certain things that he got to look at.
Yeah.
That an athletic guard would never even think about because they've been using their athleticism all their life.
Right.
And Scoot is somebody who already has a game where he's like, yo, it's kind of advanced for his age. So now with somebody who's fantastic, because Brogdon in Indiana, where he was by himself damn near, he was showing that he was a guy who could help you get a championship. They didn't want him to leave Milwaukee before he even went to Indiana. So it's like, come on. And it's a reason honestly, Boston went after him. If he wasn't in Boston, he would have had a lot of more playtime and did better. But go ahead.
If it wasn't for Brogdon showing what he could do in LA, because remember he was part of that Lakers team that got jettisoned and stuff like that. He was there with Clarkson. He was around that time. So he showed that he can not be the guy, but set up the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like put the guy in situations.
Yeah, and
did it in Indiana. You know,
exactly.
And Indiana, all they had over there was Miles Turner, and he was setting it up, pick and rolls, and getting Miles Turner going, and because that's what you need, especially with a big guy. You get a big guy rolling early in the game, it'll show up later in the game.
Then when you think about it, I don't know if he was a part of the club, but he was right there next to the 50, 40, 90 club.
He was in that conversation.
Yeah, so it's just like, yo, this is an efficient guy who would show Scoot some games that he wouldn't even think about. So it's like, yo, it sucks that he's gonna have to move. And they're gonna move him because people are gonna call, and championship teams see the value in Brogdon.
No, they're gonna end up moving him. I think they end up moving him and Jeremy Grant. If not together, they're definitely both of them are gone. They're gone. But I think that they have a promising future.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, this was more of where Dame went because there was a lot of discussion on Twitter that I really didn't like. A lot of discussions on why they do that to Dame. Dame wanted to go to Miami, but at the end of the day, not only did the organization do something for themselves, because that's the ultimate. You talk about ultimate cohesion of organization doing something for themselves, but also doing something for the player because they didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
They could have
Nope.
sent him anywhere. It's not like he had a no trade clause. He could veto where he goes. No, they did him a favor too. They sent him to a contending team where he has a clear shot at going to the finals. Let's not even talk about going to the playoffs. They have a shot at going to the finals. Period.
Yeah.
Every year that Giannis is there, and as long as they're building around him, they have a shot to go to the finals. Giannis already proved that he's him, and they can go far. They could go the distance. Just surround me with whatever I need. We're going to the finals. But Portland read up and did what they had to do.
Yeah.
Now they have a whole bunch of youth. They have a whole bunch of money that they could literally, we don't even got to spend like that because what star is really going to come here? We don't got to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
Free up on all our picks. Hopefully you hit on your picks and re-sign your guys. Those are the guys that are going to get those max contracts, and that's where that money's going to go, retaining all your players. So I think this was the best case scenario for both parties. And whoever says that this was a slight on Dame, either they don't watch basketball and they haven't seen Giannis, or they're super Dame fans and really want, or the Miami Heat fans and really wanted him in Miami. This was a perfect scenario for him.
Yeah, that's a fact, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. Because it's like, yeah, he wanted to go to Miami. Nice. We talked about it last week. He wanted to go to Miami, but shooting for Miami and landing in Milwaukee, that's not the baddest thing that could have happened to anybody. So it's like, it was fantastic. It was the best blend between getting talent that you need for Portland and getting the assets you need to actually trade and make things work, because Hero wasn't going for what Drew was going for.
Nah, not at all. And that's not a slide on Hero either. I mean, I think Hero is a good player. I just don't think that really moved the needle. Any package that was surrounding Hero from Miami going to Portland was not going to be a sufficient package. Miami didn't have leverage. Anytime you go into a trade negotiation, you have to have some type of leverage. Portland had all the leverage.
Yep.
That's just the fact of the story. I think Milwaukee had more. That's basically what it is. Milwaukee had more leverage than Miami in any trade scenario. And on top of that, Dame gets to go to a true contender. Because Dame going to Miami, everything that they would have probably had to give up, including Hero, they're not getting that same. Was Portland willing to trade Grant with Dame? Because that's the only way that any other scenario could work. Paired Grant in the backcourt with Bam, and then on top of that, they wanted Bam.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but. Like I said, man, this is the best scenario for both parties.
You can't look at it bad at Portland, because Portland, the only reason you would want Bam is because to get rid of him too. And that's what they did. They like, okay, got to get rid of him. We're going to get some assets back. The only way to get assets is to get people who have proven that other teams will look at as a piece to win championships. And the championship teams are the teams that's going to part with picks. So it's like getting a young player like Tyler Hero. It's like teams will sit there and look like, oh, that's just Tyler.
Yeah, it's like, he's going to move the needle as far as scoring. But I mean, do we really need him on this contending team?
Yeah, is he going to make us a championship? He's going to make us a bet in favor for the championship? No.
Yeah, Miami had a better chance trading Hero to a team that's up and coming for another young player like Detroit or OKC. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had a better chance in that scenario. But even in that scenario, it's like, I mean, if I'm OKC, what are you jettisoning out? Giddy? I'm not giving up Giddy for Hero. No. If anything, they're basically the same player. I think Giddy just has a better handle. You know what I'm saying?
But the same player.
I'm
Giddy is
not
way
Giddy.
better.
Giddy's
Giddy's
better.
better. They different
But,
players.
but my point still
I would
stands.
say I see
What
what
are
you
you
say. They probably
trading
the
for?
same value around as
Right.
far as depending on what team it is.
Right. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like in this situation, it's like you can't trade. Hero can't be your centerpiece to go and get a star.
Yeah, in the trade package, your centerpiece is Tyler
There
Hero.
has to be at the very least, there has to be potential star power. Giddy's the player that you could trade to get Dame. There's potential star. There's potential star there. You know what I'm saying?
I think they still too young to even.
You know what I mean? He's still too young and unproven, but
that's why Portland made the best.
What would you bank on? What would you bank on? Giddy ceiling or Hero ceiling? Because that's basically what you're trading for. You're trading for the ceiling. You're trading for what you feel is going to maximize your money back on that trade, your investment. So at the end of the day, I feel like whatever trade Miami would have centered around Hero wouldn't have been enough. It wouldn't have been sufficient. First of all, you don't even have the draft picks. You don't have the capital.
Nope.
And any situation you would have had to do had to involve another team. And what are you giving up to give to that team too? Because that team still has to get compensation back.
Fact.
So this is the best case scenario. I'm happy for Dame. I hope not. Like all jokes aside, I really hope they make it to the finals.
No, that's a whole thing. Even though we like Boston, even though I don't like Boston. Even though I like Tatum and Jaylen Brown and them, but shoot, Milwaukee is too tough. They just got to shore up that defense still, but they're tough.
It's still early in the off season. But they about to. When is But training camp just started, right?
Training camp just started. So it's a few weeks away to the NBA season, man. Like you said, training camp. Have you heard anything from training camp? Seen anything from training camp? You think
everybody's just showing up right now, so we can't really. Everything is just up in the air right now. Everybody's still showing up and everything. Everybody's getting to know new teammates and stuff like that. So it's one of them ones where it's like we're going to hear something in the next week or two, but I guarantee it's going to come out of Portland. It's going to be Grant or Brogdon. Those are the next pieces to pull.
And I mean, throughout training camp too, so far, we got the left-hander Jaylen Brown going crazy. Yeah, and then did you see in Golden State they got CP dunking?
Nah, CP's not dunking. You gotta send that.
CP dunked the ball. I was sitting here like, oh my god, he over here acting.
Nah, they lowered the rim. They lowered the rim. Nah. I'm not. I don't believe it. You gotta send that to me. You gotta send. I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
That boy acted different. Yeah, it was the rim grazer, but he jumped. I was shocked. It was like you know how Curry dunked too, It was some rim grazers, but I'm like, yo, y'all jumping? Why y'all jumping for?
Yo, and it's mad funny because he's never gonna dunk in a game.
Nah. But he in practice he's jumping for joy. He's like, oh, I'm with these guys. It's a chance. I could get a win. I could get a ring.
Nah, man. Yeah. So the season's about to start. Flagrant 2 is here for all of your news and whatever, man. Like, subscribe. All the good stuff.
You know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above.
All the above,
your
man.
Your boys are signing now.
See you guys next week. CP3 dunking?